What's up and welcome to Versus Battle Cards. Today we will be solving another big matchup in the Versus community, one that's been around for a super long time. It's Undyne from Undertale versus Pearl from Steven Universe. Now, despite how often this matchup is brought up, it's never really looked too deeply into, with the vastly different ways people view Undertale's stats. But I have my own personal take on it, which you can see in my other show Versus Character Cards, and it actually makes the matchup a lot more interesting. Now, on the topic of who wins and loses, I still don't know. That's what we're here to find out. But according to the Discord poll, Pearl's got this in the bag. But I don't know, you guys got the last big matchup wrong. Can the poll really be trusted? Let's see. Being defenders of royalty, both these characters are armed to the teeth. Starting with Undyne, she wears protective armor. She also knows a couple wrestling moves, as she likes to suplex boulders just because she can. Her main weapon of choice is a spear. She uses it for piercing, stabbing, typical spear stuff. But she can also summon a ton of light spears to jolt out of the ground, surprising her opponents. Or she can summon massive barrages of light spears in the air to home in on her foes. Undyne also has special magical abilities, allowing her to create a barrier in the battlefield so you can't escape. These are only temporary though, but she can always just make a new one when the old one wears out. If you do manage to outlast her barrier and escape, she'll just come hunting you down. She's very determined, and that determination strengthens her to absurd levels. Literally, if Undyne is near death, she will change into a powerful new form that makes her stronger and faster, able to go toe-to-toe with Kara, the most evil being in Undertale. The only way to truly stop Undyne is with heat. That slows her down big time. It has to be at least 200 degrees Fahrenheit, as she survived temporarily in the hotlands, which were hot enough to evaporate a plastic cup. Moving on to Pearl, and she's an alien rock lady from a team called the Crystal Gems. Her kind has loads of abilities. Their bodies are literally made out of light itself, and when they take too much damage, they can retreat to their gems to heal and recover, coming back with a brand new form. They can also shapeshift or fuse with other gems to become much stronger. And of course, every gem has their own weapon. Pearl's is her spear. Like Undyne, she also uses it for piercing and stabbing, but she can also fire light projectiles from them. She can also throw her spear too, not worried about losing them as she can just make more with her gem. Pearl is also an amazing sword fighter and an excellent teacher, as she taught Steven's friend Connie. And she can get plenty of sword fighters to back her up with her Hollow Pearl, an intangible duplicate with all the sword mastery she has. With her gem, she can also create a thick mist to cloak herself from her opponents, or she could just suck them into her pocket dimension. That gem sure is powerful, but it's also a weak point. Even just cracking the gem can throw their powers and entire body out of whack, but completely shattering it? Yeah, they're done. But even with that big weakness, I think Pearl wins the arsenal category. Not only is she a master of the spear, but she's a master of the sword. Pearl's alternate abilities also help her fight her opponents, while Undyne's just prevent her opponents from running away, which Pearl likely wouldn't do anyways. But let's see what the YouTube predictions are thinking. Undyne is able to tie things back up with speed though, matching Pearl. Undyne's spears are light-based, and she can battle against Kara and Frisk, both who can dodge them. They also reacted to close-range electrical attacks from Mettaton, reacted to lasers in the core, and Kara at least has dodged light-based Gaster Blasters from Sans. With Undyne being able to combat Kara as well as she does, there's no reason why she wouldn't be able to scale. As for Pearl, Steven Universe is full of all kinds of faster-than-light feats, some even massively faster than light, like Lapis Lazuli flying back to Homeworld. However, there's a bit of a big problem with these feats. A later episode of Steven Universe revealed that the gems cannot travel faster than light, because their bodies are made of light, and they'll end up lagging behind their gems if they're going at speeds exceeding that. While Pearl and the gems do have feats exceeding light speeds, we can't exactly include them, because it's a lore thing, like Saiyans not being able to breathe in space despite their feats, and Alucard with Schrödinger. So she'll have to stay at a speed of light level with Undyne, nothing faster. When it comes to Undertale, there are arguments accusing Undertale of being a super weak verse, saying all the attacks are soul-based and nothing physical that anyone can scale to. That, however, is a load of baloney. Papyrus literally has the physical attacks he used on you in a box in his room, and he'll even comment on the white powder covering your hands in the genocide run. The mad dummy will throw a knife at you, and your stats change depending on what physical items you have on your person. We can even see Undyne using one of her spears to smash a table. So with that said, yes, Undyne can physically scale to Kara from combating with her. And with Kara having the ability to exterminate all life on the planet in a single strike, this puts Undyne at multi-continental levels of power. Now, on the reverse side of the Undertale being weak argument, there's one where people say it's insanely powerful, destroying entire timelines and such. However, we never really see this either. Timelines don't really get destroyed, they can be easily recovered. And after Kara unleashes their final attack, we can still hear the wind and atmosphere of the Earth. It's still intact. Multi-continental she stays. Pearl is able to tie that up though. While Pearl isn't powerful enough to combat the diamonds on her own and their planet-threatening power, she is still considered strong enough to be a bodyguard for the diamonds, specifically Rose Quartz. Fighting by her side for ages, Pearl has taken on so many different foes, and she should scale up to multi-continental from the cluster, a giant monster made of shattered gem fragments forcefully fused together, created to hollow out the world of all its resources. So Pearl and Undyne should definitely be tied up here. Let's see what the Discord predictions think though. Pearl completely dominates in this bonus category. As far as experience goes, Pearl has been fighting for thousands of years, facing a wide variety of gym opponents thanks to the different weapons they can all use. And pearls are specifically made for fighting, protecting, and serving their diamond. As for Undyne, though monsters live much longer than humans, there's no evidence to suggest it's for thousands of years like gems. And Undyne doesn't really have much experience in combat. She was trained by Asgore her entire life, but she never really got a chance to test or prove her skills until Frisk or Kara came along. And as for intelligence, we don't really need to dive too deep into how Pearl wins there. And with these last set of advantages, it's clear that the winner is Pearl. This was actually a pretty close battle, despite how much of a stomp that last section was. Both ended up completely even in stats, in terms of speed and strength. They match speeds of light and are both strong enough to take on foes who can wipe out the entire planet. They both also have pretty impressive arsenals full of spears and light arrows, and a couple big weaknesses that could be exploited. However, Pearl did have a few extra tricks up her sleeves which helped her edge out. For example, her Hollow Pearl, which would let her outnumber Undyne. Or the fog she can make. Undyne already appears to be half blind with that eye patch she has, so this would make her even more visually impaired. Pearl can also heal and regenerate an unlimited amount of times just as long as her gem isn't damaged. And if all else fails, she could just pull Undyne into her pocket dimension. Those extra powers, combined with her superior combat experience, intelligence, and skills, would no doubt have the fish caught. Pearl wins. But let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with the outcome? And thank you for predicting in this episode. Be sure to predict the next one with a comment down below, a comment in my Discord server, voting in the Discord poll, or making a video prediction. While we're on a streak of big matchups, why don't we get to another one that's pretty big in my audience specifically? It's gaming's greatest monkey catcher versus the monkey that overcame my bias and defeated Crash Bandicoot in universes. That's right, it's Spike from Ape Escape versus Diddy Kong from Donkey Kong Country.